Welcome back. Now what we're doing is shading the three objects that you were required to draw before you begin your project. Before you do so, you need to decide whether your light source is coming from over here or over here. So to do that, you just kind of make a decision. So I'm going to draw it in over here just because you don't have to. Okay, this is a nice little visual of where my light's coming from. So if my light was in the background but shining this way, this surface would be bright, this surface would be bright, and part of this would be bright. But everything else is going to be dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start using compressed charcoal, which is my Sharpie of charcoal. And I'm going to start blacking out anything I see fit. It's going to be really dark right down here. Going to be pretty dark up here. And that's about it for darkening, with the exception of I'm also going to start darkening some of my sky up here. And then let's see what that looks like. So I'm going to take some of my vine charcoal and help them blend in. You can kind of use it as a blending tool sometimes. I'm going to start blending my sky first. Oops, guess what? I just smudged the little edge of my paper, of my cube. Guess what? There are three effects that we're trying to capture here. A, the illusion of reality. So to do so, we have to remember that nothing in real life has outlines. Nothing anywhere in your surroundings actually has that's made in nature or most of man-made products. We don't have anything with outlines. That's kind of a cartooning effect. That's a simplifying effect. That's not what we're trying to capture here. We're trying to create reality, or the illusion of reality, really. All right. So to do so, at some point we're going to get rid of all of our lines. But for now, just blending our sky and not paying too much attention to our loss of edges. You can add a little bit of background back here because it doesn't make sense to eliminate it entirely. I just use vine charcoal for that, and a combination of compressed charcoal over here. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I want my land to be a little bit lighter than my sky, but I do want it to stand out. Alright, so keep in mind this is actually only taking me, if it wasn't for all my talking, this activity's only taken me, I would say, roughly about 6 minutes. Alright, so I've just shaded my ground and I've shaded my added value to my cubes. But now it's time to actually make this look good. You guys should all have some experience shading some objects, so what I want you to do is take your time and get this black blended the way it's supposed to look. If you've already come to realize, maybe you've already realized that Martinez is pretty picky about your drawing skills. This class is teaching you pretty much all you need to know about drawing. The rest is up to you and what you do with those abilities learned in my class. Alright, so here we have it. We have three objects drawn in space. Now it's time to clean up your edges, because as an illusionist, we talked about this in your pencil project. You want to get rid of anything that gives away that this is not a drawing, that this isn't really a photograph. You want to convince the person looking at it that it's believable in this case. So what you're going to do is, now that I've done everything in dark, I'm going to go through and do everything that's supposed to be light. Look at that sharp edge. Look at this sharp edge. Both of those things convincing the viewer a little bit more that this is a cube sitting in the middle of a field on top of a rock with a cylinder on top of it. The interaction of these three objects is really important. Uh-oh. That was a little too dark. So let me show you something that happens when something's a little too dark. What you can do is take an eraser and use the edge of it to shave away any excess charcoal. Alright. So we're getting there. Slowly but surely. What I want you to do is clean up your edges, clean up your act. Until that object starts appearing more and more realistic. So what we're doing here, let me just point out a couple of things that are helping this become a successful drawing. We got rid of our lines on this cube. There's still a line right here, so that's taken away from the realism. We also have the shape that's kind of in the clouds. What I mean by that is part of it, like right here, you can't tell where the cylinder ends and where the background begins, and vice versa. You don't know where the sky ends and the cylinder begins. So what you want to do is define your object so it really stands out. You're also using your eraser to sharpen some edges, and we're really depending on contrast. Contrast is the strength in which one thing next to another makes the other thing stand out. So here we're creating strong contrast by creating a dark background right next to a really bright object. And in reverse, you have a really dark object with a pretty soft background, a light background, to make it pop out. You need to be cognizant. You got to be aware of what you're doing there to make that successful. So apologize about changing the direction constantly on a drawing, but if you remember from your pencil project, so make sure you rotate the paper so you're more able to successfully draw the thing that you're drawing. For me, as a lefty, I'm a smudger, so I got to make sure I do everything in my power to avoid smudging my drawings. I'm going to add a little bit more darkness right here just because I can. Alright, nearly done. Alright, the last shape I need to focus on is, well, I want to focus on everything really. It's not done. This drawing isn't done until it's done. Oftentimes it takes several inspections of the entire drawing before you're happy with it. Alright, lastly is this cube here, or the cylinder here. Call it a cylinder, but I meant sphere. It's been a long day. Alright, so create your edge, blend in the rest. Alright, nearly done. Remember what I said. Light object, darker background to create a nice contrast. Trying to get rid of my line in the process. You can take your eraser, clean up your edge. And then I need to fix my cube here while not creating a line, which can be tough sometimes. One second, let me grab a tool. In the classroom, you'll find a few mechanical erasers. I only have a few of them, meaning like 3 or 4. Make sure that if you borrow one, you bring it right back. The typical rule is they're kind of hard to get, so if one disappears, they all disappear, meaning I put them all away because it's hard to trust the class or buy tools up with my own money and one disappears. So make sure you just respect the class rules and try not to walk away with an eraser. I've had plenty of students accidentally walk away with an eraser and then they just bring it back whenever they can. That's a different story. No harm, no foul if you do that. You just bring it back the next day saying, oh, sorry, I walked out with it. Alright, and that's that. That's how you draw 3 objects with charcoal. Alright, I hope you liked the video.